Hello. This new moon in Pisces is asking you one clear question. What are you truly willing to give your whole heart to? And is it worthy of your devotion? Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It is where the dark part of the year symbolically surrenders to the return of the light. Seasonally, we prepare for the spring and the return of longer and lighter days. By the time the sun reaches these final degrees, something in the cycle of experience has run its course. Before Aries ignites the next beginning, Pisces asks us to soften, to release control, and to listen to what the heart still longs for. This new moon appears in the last decan of Pisces, a place where devotion, sacrifice, and endings are all weaving together. I'm Sonia from Celestia Astrology. Please join me as we delve deeper into all these threads that the Pisces new moon is weaving together. Let's have a look at journal prompts and rituals, into the nature of Pisces, the mutable waters and shifting tides, into the nature of new moons and the Pisces moon family cycle from 2026 to 2028, the decan of Pisces 3, which Austin Coppock names the bowl of blood, the corresponding tarot card, the Ten of Cups, and a verse from T. Susan Chang, as well as the astrology of this lunation. I'll offer you integration guidance as well. You might ask how I can support you. I offer a Celestia Circle on Substack, and we meet every month on Zoom, where we look at the month's lunations through the lens of the moon family cycles. I'll support you in seeing how each lunation can become part of a longer living story, rather than just an isolated event that we notice and then move on from. If this new moon is touching important placements in your chart, it may mark the beginning of a deeply personal 2.5-year journey. Together we'll explore how these cycles unfold in real time, so this symbolism of the sky becomes something that you can live and work with. So let's look at journal prompts. Before we analyse the astrology, you may wish to take a moment just to pause, reflect, and look at these prompts or journal on your own observations on what is arriving and leaving your life at this time. So some prompts, and these are only suggestions, and these help make deeper connections in your mind, and they help make a record of what's going on in your life. If you journal regularly, you'll know this. But if you don't, it's a good time to start just before we move into Aries season. At this Pisces time, just a good time to release everything and get ready for a new start in Aries. So you might consider, where in your life are you being asked to give more of your heart? What dream or calling continues to return, even though it feels uncertain for you? Where might you be sacrificing your energy for something that cannot truly receive it? What would devotion look like for you if it was aligned with your deepest values? And what kind of emotional fulfillment do you want to cultivate over the next 2 years? Remember that Pisces speaks quietly, symbolically, and mystically. These answers might often arrive through feeling rather than logic. It's worth spending some of your time meditating or just sitting with these themes to see how they show up in your life right now. I've also included a simple new moon ritual suggestion. I keep these very short and sweet, but you can extend them, elaborate on them, however you want to do. It's just a starting point. So these new moons mark the planting of seeds in your life, not literal seeds, although you always are welcome to plant literal seeds as well. In Pisces, this ritual is gentle and flowing, and the best time to do this is a few days after the new moon, often, as the moon begins to wax and share and gain her light once more. You might want to sit somewhere calm and quiet and light a candle as you steady your breathing. Or, if possible, place a bowl of water next to the candle to symbolize the element of Pisces, or even go outdoors to sit near a body of water. When you feel ready, when you've sat quietly for a time, write down 3 things. First is a dream or a vision that you want to nurture and grow. The second is an offering that you're willing to make in service of that dream. Everything that we want to grow has a cost, so it helps if we voluntarily make that sacrifice. The third thing, what is a boundary that will help you protect your energy as you pursue it? Your journal notes will have helped you prepare for this, but also see what surfaces when you actually sit, light that candle, or sit near that body of water with the intent to perform the ritual. When you finish, fold the paper and maybe even dip one folded edge in the water just to seal your intention. Keep it somewhere safe. Maybe even mark the Pisces glyph, the two fishes that are going in the opposite directions with the line through it on the outside, and date it for future reference. Pisces is a water sign. It's receptive, fluid, and deeply connected to the imaginal, liminal, mystical, and spiritual worlds. This mutable nature makes it adaptable, porous, and gives it an in-between nature as it sits at the end of the zodiac. It's about boundaries and thresholds and being in that space in between them. It's a place of release, renewal, and rebirth before the return of the sun when we reach Aries and the zodiac begins anew. It has that ability to dissolve boundaries and to move between those realms because of this. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. This is an optimistic planet that seeks meaning and faith. It's looking for bigger meanings, while Venus, who is its exalted ruler, brings artistic qualities, beauty, compassion, and a longing for transcendence. Pisces has a yin or feminine quality, which pulls those with Pisces placements inwards. It's softening, it's reflective, it's embracing, and it listens. A new moon occurs when the moon joins the sun in the same part of the zodiac. The sky is dark at this time. It's holding on to its secrets in the shadows. And a new lunar cycle begins so quietly, softly, and gently beneath the surface. This new moon forms at 28 degrees of Pisces. It's right at the last degrees of the zodiac. These are like liminal degrees as well, where these endings and beginnings can merge and blur together. Saturn and Neptune lingered here as they did their long dance before finally diving from the waters of Pisces into the fire of Aries. Something is dissolving so that something new can now take shape. What is it for you? If you have placements near these degrees, you'll feel this cycle unfolding in deeply personal ways. Pisces lunations often stir dreams, creativity and sacrifice, spiritual longings. It can be confusing, but we can observe multiple lunar cycles at once. This Pisces new moon is the beginning of a 28-day lunar month, as well as a 6-month cycle, which is between the new moon and the full moon in the same sign. So there'll be a Pisces full moon in 6 months' time. Dietrich Pessin in Lunar Shadows 3 introduces an even longer cycle of approximately 27 months, which track the progression of the moon at the same degree, so returning to that last decan of Pisces around this 28 degrees of Pisces, through progressing new, quarter, full, and closing phases with the sun. So it's 4 different phases of the moon. The sun is moving, but the moon always returns to that same part of Pisces. The full moon will be an eclipse close to this degree in 2027, and that will mark a culmination point in this lunar family. It will be offering revelations and a hidden thread that weaves a narrative story arc, which is beginning now. And so you see how these moon families operate, that we're not even talking about an eclipse in 2027 yet, but these moon families give us a peek into what's beginning now and how we can start to think about it. So here we come to look at this Pisces moon family that's going to unfold across the next 2 to 5 years. And I say 5 years because this moon family includes an eclipse. So if it impacts your chart, this story may extend beyond this moon family into the next at the same degree range. So the people this will affect are those with planets or angles in the mutable signs, so that's Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini, or the water triplicity, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, between 17 to 29 degrees. And also those with Jupiter as their chart ruler, their Lord of the Year, or also their solar return ruler. So those are the people who need to really listen closely. And I'm going to bring up some slides so you can see this more clearly. The new moon is on the 19th of March, 28 degrees of Pisces, and this is where the seed is being planted. The first quarter moon on the 17th of December is at 25 degrees of Pisces. And this is push, a challenge, an action, a call to growth. Then the full moon will be this lunar eclipse, and that comes on the 15th of September, 2027. And that will be at 22 degrees of Pisces, which is why these degree range goes back so far, because I've found that about 5 degrees seems to be the range for it. So this is going all the way back to 17 degrees because that allows that 5 degrees from 22. So this is where the culmination of whatever's beginning now for you, whatever you consciously or intentionally begin. And this will be the culmination of that, the peak, the revelation, the illumination of that. And then you'll move into a last quarter on the 15th of June, 2028 at 24 degrees of Pisces. And that will be an integration of everything that's been grown and has moved and changed for you. And it also will be a time when you're asked to release that which you've outgrown during that cycle, that which you don't want to carry on and continue into the next cycle. So something's being surrendered there in the dark before Aries begins and the light returns. So this moon family is mirroring those phases of the moon across the years rather than the weeks or the months. This new moon plants the seed. The first quarter will test it, ask you what's working and what isn't, so you can pivot and adjust and make it more workable for you. The full moon will illuminate those results, and sometimes it can be a dramatic culmination. Other times it will be an inner understanding or insight, especially in Pisces. The last quarter will bring that reflection, that closure, that integration and release before the cycle dissolves and renews. And as I said, because it's an eclipse, it's more likely to renew for those people that are impacted. Each phase builds upon the last. So that's important to remember. That's how the story grows and continues. It will reveal key developments and bring pivot points in your longer story. So these Pisces moon families often unfold quietly through emotional insight, spiritual growth, creative development, maybe mystical understanding, or boundaries just being created or released. This story can take time to reveal its meaning. It can be more subtle to actually identify. And knowing the moon family dates at the unfolding can help us to actually identify and recognize the story. And when you do, that can help pull out those threads and actually work with it more constructively. So an astrologer or an astro coach can help you identify either if this moon family affects you and if it does, what the story is. And also, if you want to work regularly with the moon families, consider joining us in Celestia Circle. And there'll be workbooks every month. If the moon family affects you, you'll have the option of that workbook just to track the cycle all the way through. There's live monthly meetings and also support. And you can do that by just upgrading on my Substack to paid. So let's look now at the Decan of Pisces 3, which Austin Coppock calls the bowl of blood. This decan is ruled by Mars in both the descending and the triplicity methods. So this intensifies Mars focus because it's double Mars ruled. This is such a striking and emotive image. The bowl represents an offering, but also a container for something poured out in devotion to a greater and higher purpose. Mars here is acting through compassion, through imagination, and emotional courage. In 36 Faces, Austin Coppock writes, "There is an impatience here, a boredom with compromise, and an unwillingness to accept anything but what is absolutely right. The sacrifice of mundane layers of life must part ways here. Judgments must be made, and sacrifices too." He also continues on to introduce the 36 heirs of the zodiac, a fragmented Hellenistic text which explores that it is in this decan that Elphys, the daimon of hope, resides. In myth, when Pandora opens the sealed urn that she was told never to open, she unleashed malicious spirits into the world and forever cursed mankind. Hesiod writes, "Only hope was left within her unbreakable house. She remained under the lip of the jar and did not fly away." And fans and devotees of the Sandman will note that Hope was a significant character in the final battle. Kira Ryberg describes this decan as effort, like this huge effort at the end of the zodiac, while the Wildway Oracle calls it deep sacrifice. These descriptions evoke imagery of intense struggle, dedication, and the martyrdom of Pisces. This is a place where we give everything to something we believe in. The wisdom of the decan lies in recognizing where such devotion truly belongs. The Wildway Oracle deck by Nicola Allen calls this decan deep sacrifice and guides us with the keywords give your all, passionate quest, martyrdom. The Oracle card offers a story of the kingfisher, a bird on a passionate quest to catch the tastiest fish, but it's in shallow waters despite the danger. The image shows the brightly coloured blue and orange kingfisher in a headlong dive into shallow water to reach the fish swimming below. Once the kingfisher spots the fish beneath the water, it dives without hesitation, committing its entire body to the pursuit. The call to action of Mars overrides any considerations that the water may be shallow and the dive carries a high risk. We have to question, will the catch justify the leap? It reflects the intense longing and willingness to take risks in pursuit of something that may or may not be worth the cost. The key lesson for us here is to balance passion and sacrifice with discernment, and to ensure that your efforts are aligned with your true values. This is the essence of the spirit of Pisces 3. Passion can inspire extraordinary courage, but devotion must also be guided by discernment. The new moon invites you to consider where your energy, passion, and devotion flow most naturally. The corresponding tarot card for this decan is the Ten of Cups, and it symbolizes emotional fulfillment and completion, the joy that comes from connection, belonging, and shared happiness. It represents a vision of emotional completion where love and trust create a sense of deep contentment. However, this fulfillment can often come at a cost of great effort or sacrifice. Give your all in pursuit of your dreams, but carefully consider, what are you sacrificing and whether the outcome will truly be worth the price. Also, it is important to take the time to celebrate what you have completed and what you are ready to release. Card shows 4 figures in a landscape. There are 2 children dancing together, and 2 adult figures are faced away from the observer. They're closely linked, and each raises an arm in the air. They face a river with a home in the distance, and in the sky, we see an arc of 10 cups in a coloured rainbow formation, which the figures appear to be greeting. The Ten of Cups reminds us that devotion can lead to profound fulfillment when it is placed in the right direction. We are reminded that sacrifice alone does not bring happiness, while sacrifice connected to something meaningful does. Realms of liquid light. In Dreaming the Deccan, T. Susan Chang describes this decan in verse, and this is an excerpt. The rainbow rising from the haze never ceases to amaze. A dream of hope and family, what's real and what's fantasy. The vision beckons, but be wise, bubbles first when vast in size. Crossing realms of liquid light, keep the story's end in sight. So let's take a look now at the astrology of this Pisces new moon. It's forming in a sky that's already shaped by the recent meeting of Mercury retrograde and the North Node at 8 degrees of Pisces. And interestingly, this same degree carried significance during the earlier Aquarius eclipse in February when Venus met the North Node, suggesting echoes between the 2 events. Mercury will station at this degree on the 20th of March, bringing some karmic intensity, desire, and linking our thoughts and our feelings back to memories of what we may have felt pulled to start in February. We may find ourselves returning to themes introduced earlier in the year, perhaps in a different form, now being asked for a deeper commitment or reflection. The new moon is joined by Mars as it travels through Pisces at 12 degrees. The new moon is applying towards a whole sign trine with Jupiter, the benevolent ruler of Pisces. Mars is in an exact degree-based aspect, which is more intense. Trines are of the nature of Jupiter. They can bring support and gifts as well as fast-moving events. Jupiter in nurturing Cancer is newly direct, having completed its nostalgic journey into the past and gathered new insights to share. Mars in Pisces acts through emotional conviction rather than force, and as it reaches towards Jupiter, we may find courage and belief to align again to support our new moon fresh start. As the Wild Way card and the Ten of Cups guided us, the astrology echoes too. We see our effort becoming meaningful when it's guided by faith and our higher beliefs. This new moon does not directly aspect Venus in Aries, the exalted ruler of Pisces, which means that devotion may require conscious choice rather than simply following where pleasure or ease naturally takes us. The new moon is just separating, but still connected by degree to a sextile with Uranus in Taurus. The sextile is an aspect that is of the nature of Venus. It is supportive and brings helpful, comfortable opportunities. However, Uranus can be disruptive and innovative. It aims to move us from our comfort zone. This suggests that shifts in what we actually desire, what our higher beliefs want us to sacrifice for and devote ourselves to, may already be quietly unfolding. Taken together, the sky suggests a moment where intuition, effort, and belief are working together for quiet inner shifts that may become visible effort when Mars and Jupiter connect on the 22nd of March. So, to integrate this, earlier this month, the Virgo lunar eclipse asked us to refine, correct, and release what had become unsustainable. And Pisces is now asking for some inner surrender before we make this fresh start. Where Virgo focuses on competence and responsibility, Pisces is turning towards compassion and devotion. The work and thinking patterns you may have released earlier this month have created space for a more meaningful connection now to grow that connects you with something greater than yourself as Jupiter shares its new insights through this new moon. You're being asked where your heart truly belongs. And finally, we return to the burning question with a deeper understanding. What are you truly willing to give your whole heart to? And is it worthy of your devotion? Pisces 3 understands that sacrifice has power to create something much greater than ourselves. However, sacrifice without discernment will only lead you to burnout and exhaustion. If your devotion is misplaced, it can drain your spirit. You have an opportunity right now to consciously connect with a vision that is personal for you, one that creates fulfillment, which resonates far beyond the present moment. Trust yourself and connect with the flowing, intuitive energy of Pisces. It is there that we can find the answers to this question. Travel well, friends. And please, if you've enjoyed this or found it useful, it is so helpful to a small channel to engage, to like, subscribe, to comment. It really makes a difference, that it helps other people that this video may be useful for to find the information. So I really appreciate every one of you that's watched to the end. Thank you so much.